Well, hello everyone. I'm B from Our Dream, Our Purpose. And what we're going to do today, going to do a little sand casting. I've got this bear claw. I mentioned in other videos, my wife's a big fan of bears. So I've got this large bear claw that actually sits on top of a stove, but I thought I'd try to cast it out of aluminum.
The final product, let's see the process now and how it turns out.
I have some aluminum, so I thought if we could make some, it'd be cool to actually have designs on the wall, maybe like it's walking up a wall. So I'm going to use the box that I have. You guys have showed making one of these before. It's a larger one, but it needs to be because this is larger. Now again, this is very thin, so I'll be interested to see how it does. It's going to be a lot of sand. Petrobond sand put in there just for this thin piece, but we'll give it a shot and see how it does. So again, we're going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to show you making the sand, then I'll melt the aluminum and see how it does. All right, let's get started. Just putting a little bit on here. This is just a platform that will help me flip it over, but it won't be attached. Just making sure this doesn't stick to it. Then I'll put some on here so the sand doesn't stick to it. I actually have, so these are awesome containers to be able to hold the sand after I use it. You can reuse it to an extent, but this is actually new sand. I'm going to use it for around the paw itself, and then I'll use some of that, which I could use that, but again, let me I probably could pour this in here, but I'm just trying to break it up a little bit by hand. Just the finer it is, the better definition you're going to get. From what I've seen. Now I say that I've only done a few of these. You guys have seen some. So I'm learning as I go. If you guys have any comments, any ideas, any thoughts, anything you see that help me, I've already gotten some, which I greatly appreciate, so please continue. Now everybody uses other different things. I just use a rubber mallet to beat it down. Now I'm trying to beat it around the claw itself. Just trying to make sure it's tight up against that, and you can see it's spreading out. I'm just doing this a little bit, and then I'll get more so it fits around the entire mold box. might be different ways of doing it. I like going from the middle out, because when I'm hitting down in the middle, it's pressing out against the sides. So just as I'm getting the base down, I like to go from the middle out, and now you can see I'm hitting the outsides. And my goal is to flip this over and then leave it as is. Actually going to pour it right on here. That's why I've got it on this cart with wheels. I'll actually, once I get it all casted and ready, I'll roll it out of the way so I'm not moving it around. Then I'll actually melt my aluminum and pour it here. So here's the tough part. This is where we flip it over. To me, it's the tough part because the size of this is so large. It's got a lot of weight to it. Shift it a little bit as I flipped. See how it turns out. Looks like it might have, yeah, I have enough on it. Let's see if we can, again, this is not that so let's see if we can just put a little bit on and repair it. Trying to get any of these little imperfections out. Now the plan is when I do the other, I put it on top. It should cover all the offside areas, but keep switching hammers. This one has a better surface. It actually, the sand seems to be sticking to the other one. It's not perfect, but let's see. If we could do the base and so this is a little different. We're going to see how this goes. I'm going to fill this in. This will be the bottom of it. And then I'll actually pick it up and put it on. Let's see how it goes. Again, I don't want anything to stick to this. This is screwed on, so I have to flip it over. So you see me, I have it hanging over the edge a little bit. And the reason being is I have these tabs that will actually align into these to make sure it aligns properly. So it's really just trying to get those so they're not, you can't put it flat, I guess is what I'm saying. So.
So what you see me doing here is I'm actually measuring where the holes will go, where I'll actually pour. I'll put 2 holes in there, so actually I can pour and see it coming out the other side, so I know it's full at that point in time. Now normally this will be on top and I'll actually push down and touch the piece, but the bottom of the claw, the paw itself, was curved in a little bit. It wasn't flat, so that's why I'm trying to do it this way, and you will see here shortly where I really struggle with this.
Okay. Now that's my holes, and again you see it's not all the way full. That's okay. What I'm going to do is take the screws out here of the bottom. And I probably didn't even need the screws in. I probably could have left it as is. Just work on it and then lift up. So it's a little harder with the screws in, but let me get those out and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so I took the screws out. Now the big thing is getting it up here. Because I didn't fill it all the way, if I filled it all the way, it'd probably be a little bit better. I didn't. So we're going to have some struggles, but I got an idea. So we got it up here. Looks good, right? We still have that baseboard in there. So I need to get the baseboard out and hope this doesn't drop miserably.
Now during this process here, because I did not fill it all the way to the top, it did not really hold tight to the sidewalls. So as I'm pulling the plywood out, I thought I'd pull it out, the whole thing would sit down and it'd be good. The problem is I was pulling it out, the actual sand was sinking, was dropping down because I didn't have a full. Definitely need to have a full every time. If someone else is able to do it, please leave a comment and let me know. But this was not the ideal way of doing it. Because I had it done, I still went along with it and tried it, but definitely not what I was looking for.
All right. Let's get some aluminum melted, and we'll pull this back. We'll pull this out of the way, do a little melting, and then we'll pull this back in and see how it pours. All right. All right. So gonna go ahead and get this started. We'll start melting some of this down. Basically what I'm gonna use is a bar that I've melted in the past. Sorry, this is melted from other things. We'll use this. Crucible is not as large as I use, but because that's so thin, I don't think it's gonna take a lot to pour. So I'll get this started and then I'll add some other to it as we go. But let's get it down in there. Let's get it warmed up. So, I've checked this a couple times off camera. I've added a little bit of aluminum to it just to make sure, and I hate not having enough. So, definitely should have plenty. I actually have some bars up there that where if I have too much, I'll pour it back in the bar. It's not a big deal. But I'd rather have too much than not enough. Again, not sure how this mold's gonna do. This is just some of the stuff I use. The clean bar is nice. A melted bar, and I use some other scrap. Has a little bit of slag on it, but clean bar turned out nice. Alright, set this back down here. So, when I poured, I was pouring in here, the second hole over here, and the whole purpose of it is so we can actually, it should go across everything, and when it comes out, this took a lot. And when I mean a lot, more than what I expected. And the reason I say that, I have a fear with the much as it took in that it actually spread, that it went in. And what I will do, I want to let this cool. This is actually pretty thin, but I'm just trying to get some of this away. So we'll let it cool down before we pull it out. But then I'll bring you guys back in when I pull it out of there, and we'll see how it turns out. All right. All right, so here it is. Basically what we're looking for, and what I thought did happen, the between the two levels, and you see me pulling the board out, it caused it to actually have, so it kept pouring out in between those two, which is not ideal at all. But I can actually go in with just a grinder, a cut-off drill, Dremel, cleaned out between. It has a nice form all the way around. So I can clean this out, and it actually worked for what I wanted to. So let me clean this up a little bit more, get this off. I'll show you what it looks like. And then maybe we'll cut that off. Go from there. Hi everyone, I'm back. I just wanted to, normally I'll pour them and I'll talk about if I have opportunities or not, over pouring, things like that. This one we talked a little bit about it, and we talked about this one poured thicker because of how I actually put the second layer on the box together. Purely my fault. Still got some of the design, the imprint. I actually cleaned off the edges somewhat, just roughed it out. I can still go back and clean it up a lot more, clean this up so it's actually shiny, buff it out type thing. But you can see the original. And then here's what the pour came. Again, it's thicker because of how I did that, but I don't think it turned out terrible. Definitely opportunities. Again, the one thing I want to look at is how I can get a mold and just do a flat mold, not have to do the second layer when it's not three-dimensional like that. It is deep, but the back's flat. How can I do that? So I'm going to look into that a little bit. Maybe the next few I'll do some of those, but I think it turned out okay. All right, thank you very much. I'm B with Our Dream, Our Purpose. Like, subscribe, hit those notifications so you can see when we have the next ones out. All right, thank you.